Nick, what is the latest headlines that are capturing your attention?
Well, the big ones really are, obviously you have Israel going on the offensive in Gaza, calling up 300,000 troops. I mean, we are looking at a full mobilization by Israel to neutralize the threat coming from Gaza amid new missile strikes and continued violence. But, you know, there are already bigger questions being asked, chiefly among them, how did Israel not see this coming? I mean, when you have 5,000 missiles or so being shot into Israel, where were the intelligence services in terms of seeing these missiles being put into place? How did they not detect the incursion that went and there was that big massacre and then all the hostage taking? And then you're starting to see the issue of, okay, now Hamas has these hostages, so what happens next in terms of negotiations to try to secure their release? So we are very much still in the early days of this thing, trying to see where it will head, but obviously some of the big questions already being asked on how it happened in the first place.
And we're going to have a former Deputy National Security Advisor over Israel joining us a little later in the show, Nick, but I'm interested in the broader ramifications, the other proxy wars that potentially are sparked. I don't want to in any way theorize that that's what's occurring, but what are you thinking about what this ripple effect is?
Well, the big question, obviously, is Iran. There's a lot of talk that Iran gave the green light to this operation, but there are bigger questions being asked, too, about the extent of their involvement, how detailed their involvement was. And then, you know, the broader issue of normalization. The U.S. has been pushing the interests of normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia. What's the future of that conversation? We are hearing that players in the region, such as UAE, Bahrain and others, are determined to press ahead with the Abraham Accords that were signed under former President Trump, and there has been some momentum, but, you know, one source telling me, you know, it's going to be messy, but we are determined to see that go ahead. So there is the question then of what is the backlash against Hamas if this is going to bring folks together in the region and say, okay, we want to continue with this, or is it going to cause that to splinter? And right now, at least, it looks like there is some momentum to try to keep those conversations on track, but obviously, again, very early days.
Nick, a technology story is the defense system that Israel deploys, which is Iron Dome. And I think I'm right in saying that Israel has made a request of the United States to help resupply them with munitions for Iron Dome. What is the latest there?
Well, we know that Congress was briefed by the administration on this, and there is obviously broad bipartisan support to make sure that Israel gets all of the munitions that it needs to keep Iron Dome resupplied. But, you know, there are other needs that Israel has, such as artillery munitions and precision-guided weaponry. So the question then there is, well, what does this mean for the Ukraine war? There's a lot of talk that stocks were running low for Ukraine, and allies were scrambling to come up with supplies to keep the Ukrainian army with the munitions that it needs. So it's not really a question of funding, but there is going to be a question of supplies. And obviously the administration's focus in the immediate term is on Israel, and everybody's trying to sort out, okay, well, what does that mean for Ukraine, especially in the long run? So, you know, we're going to be pressing away at trying to figure out those questions, but certainly a tension there between the needs from both Israel and Ukraine.